All right, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday, May 6th. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick Rick's doing sports tonight. Slickster, how are you?
Doing good, Big D.
How was your day?
Busy but good, as always.
Busy but good, all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Rick Delgado's going to do the news. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
I am good.
You survived Cinco de Mayo?
I survived the Cinco de Mayo. The nachos I took home and continued to nosh, which were enjoyable. Yeah, and I didn't have too much gas this morning, so I'm good.
Nice.
Oh, no Stinko de Mayo?
No stinko. No stinko de El Sexo. Yeah.
Okay.
Way to go, El Guapo.
All right, very good. Vinny Mac is here. Vinny Mac, how are you?
Burrito bowl.
I'm good. I'm feeling healthy. I went to the cardiologist today for a checkup.
Really?
And I had to give the blood test. You're supposed to fast for like 8 hours before the blood test.
At least 8.
Well, I forgot. And I had a huge breakfast with a giant coffee and a lot of sugar and a lot of milk. She's reading the cholesterol thing. She's like, oh, my God, like, you should, we really need to do something here. Did you fast? I'm like, oh, no, I forgot. I forgot to fast.
Oh, they're reading the numbers right there? That's pretty good.
Hey, well, I only deal with the best here, Damon.
Usually
This is
they send that stuff out. You got to wait a week or whatever.
This is very sophisticated.
$8,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyhow, it came
So
out
she saw your
healthy.
sugar at 4,000, and she said, "What's wrong with you?"
She was like, "This is a really high cholesterol." I'm like,
Would you have eggs?
Would having 2 eggs over easy with bacon, hash browns, white buttered toast, and a large coffee affect that just before I got the blood test?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, that would.
Did you mainline the coffee? Just like hook it right up to your arm and be like, all right, just get
It was pretty much an IV of coffee, and hey, I felt good going in.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I felt good going
Sure
in.
you felt full too.
Yeah. New cardiologist too. Very young, beautiful woman. I was very happy with the whole
Oh,
thing.
here we go.
Oh, that's what made your heart jump.
No wonder your heart rate was
No. Please, she's a professional.
Yeah,
Okay,
of course.
very good.
Thank you.
So do you have to redo the blood work now? Well, of course you do.
Yeah, I have to redo it, and I'll hopefully not have anything to eat 8 hours before. And
Well, now how
do
is
it
your heart?
properly.
Because you had open heart surgery.
Yeah, that's what they're checking. They're checking to make sure everything's still, in good place. Got to go in for a few of those, tests for echo and all that kind of stuff. It's just, routine stuff. But
You know what? I'm going to call shenanigans on this whole testing.
you are?
You knew she was a young hottie. That's why you did it, so you'd have to go back.
Exactly. I feigned chest pains.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think he ate on purpose?
Yes, he ate on purpose.
Okay.
I'm surprised he didn't fall down and say, I need mouth-to-mouth. Please help.
I am not gone in the longest
Is that what you
time.
do, Delgado?
Chest compressions.
it's not
Yes,
like you're
chest
speaking from
compressions, anything.
experience.
No,
Yeah.
Delgado's giving us his way.
Yes.
Well, glad you're all in. 3 minutes past the hour of 8. Real America's Voice on a Tuesday night. Hope you all had a good day. Lots to talk about today. President Trump. First of all, Vin, you were not here last night as we kind of recapped Friday night at the America First Warehouse, and we replayed our friend Mateo.
Oh.
But since you're here tonight, why don't you give us your review of our first live show at the America First Warehouse with our second live show coming up this Friday?
Yeah, it was not only amazing because we got to share the experience, which we can't do here. Obviously, there's no one here but us, and cameras. But with the rest of the fans of the show and everything, oh man, it was so much energy. Felt fantastic, and the enthusiasm of which they responded to everybody, and our comments and all that kind of stuff. It just really, I felt like athletes feel sometimes when they're on the court and they announce their name and they make a big 3-pointer or something and people go nuts. It was great. And then Mateo, talk about a kid with some smarts. I mean, holy cow. I was playing Hot Wheels when this I was not doing very sophisticated stuff at his age, but he happened to know a lot of things. What a cute kid, too. And Kevin was great. Kevin just did a fantastic interview with him. It couldn't have been done better because it was with great humor and humility with the kid, too. It was great. Mateo was a real shining star for the night. But I thought everybody was.
Yeah.
It was a great night.
Totally agree. It was a great night. Looking forward to this Friday as well. I really enjoyed the way President Trump uses these, kind of like head of state coming into the White House, brings them into the Oval, and then really commands the room and turns it into, basically a way to lay out what we're going to do, and you're going to like it with these guys. He brings these people in, he sits them down there, and he was overly courteous to Mark Carney today, like he's saying he's a big fan of him. I mean, I hope that's just being courteous, because why would you be a big fan of him?
Right. He's a
globalist.
Right. He's a World Economic guy, World Economic Forum guy. He's one of those globalists who meets in faraway lands and decides they want to dictate how everybody on the planet lives.
Yeah. And there's Trump saying what a big fan of him he is. He ran a great race, and he helped him win. And I mean, just really laying it on heavy. And I was thinking, why would he be? Why would? I mean, I know you have to be courteous, but why go this far? And then I thought about it after like 45 minutes had gone by, and it's kind of like he butters him up. Mm-hmm. And then he spends 45 minutes just saying, "Oh, and by the way, here's the way life's going down for you guys over the next couple of years, and you're gonna like take it or leave it."
Yeah.
And he just commands the room. He takes all the questions. Carney's just forced to sit there and listen. He tried to jump in at one point to talk about the USMCA, which a reporter asked President Trump, "Is the USMCA dead?" And he said, "Well, no, it's not dead, but it served its purpose basically at the time. Got rid of NAFTA, which was the worst thing ever." And it has to be renegotiated here coming up. But and Carney tried to jump in on a couple different times, especially when he said Canada's not for sale. Trump said, "Well, we'll see.
We'll see about that.
Never say never.
Never say never."
He didn't capitulate and say, "Oh, okay, we were just kidding."
Right.
He says, "Well, we'll see. Like I'm the one in control. You sit here and listen. No one's going to ask you any questions." And he's done this now. Remember Biden? When Biden was there, number one, he couldn't talk, obviously. He didn't know who was even in the room with him. But they would take no questions from the press. The press would yell. The people, "Get out, okay, press, get out." Trump's like, "Anybody got any questions?" And 45 minutes later, he's still going.
Yeah.
And these guys are forced to sit there and basically hear about how it's going to go.
Yeah, how great America's going to be, and you're gonna basically be clubbed to death right here in front of everybody. So smile and enjoy the show. You want to hear some of the clips? I think the best one was when he there's two of them that really caught my attention.
Okay, let's hear them.
Here's the first one, where he, what do you call it? Where he teases. Well, he's not teasing. He's basically telling Canada, "We don't want your stuff." And he does it to their face.
Yeah, it was a good segment.
Cut number 9. Here he is talking about Canadian steel and Canadian cars and all that stuff. Cut number 9. Check it out.
This is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation.
Alluding to, of course.
We want to make
Zelensky.
our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada, and we put tariffs on cars from Canada. And at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically.
Can I get another water, please? Can I have something?
You know what that reminds me of? Of like, the old time, what do you call it? The old time mobsters. They sit you around a table. As this is the new guy. You sit here. Meanwhile, he's around the captain's. The head of the family, surrounded by all his capos, and he's dictating what's going to happen.
You take care of the first thing or
Right.
the second thing.
Right.
I thought Trump handled it appropriately.
Right. We don't want that. We don't want this, and you're going to pay for it.
Canada's a neighbor. Think of your neighbor next door to you, your house, and you have a dispute about the fence. You were gonna walk over and say, "Bob, I know we talked about this, and you're gonna do it nice, but the fence, it's a problem, and and then you tell him directly what the deal is, and you blame your wife, whatever, you blame someone else if you can. But he treated him with a lot of respect. He came out. You know what I heard when he came out and shook his hand and all that? Biden did it once in his whole presidency, once. Trump has done it with everybody. But he did go out, he shook the guy's hand, showed him super respect, sat down and said, "We are close friends. We're not just friends. We're close friends. We're this, we're that." But, and then he went matter of fact.
Yeah.
I thought he handled it absolutely perfectly from that standpoint. And it would have looked bad if he attacked the Prime Minister of Canada, because we are friends. We're as close to them. They are part of our country.
Right.
You know, it's not like we are separate countries, but it's really not. It doesn't feel like that at all.
Sometimes, and they look like us too, which helps.
They look like
cool.
us. Yeah, they do.
Here's cut number 2, and this was asked by a reporter. If there's anything they could do about the tariffs, and it's just typical Trump. Cut number 2, check it out.
Tariffing Canada, is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs on Canada?
No,
Why not?
just the way it is.
And then he sits
That's a great answer, though.
And then he sits up and adjusts his jacket like, that was my answer. That's it. That's the way it is.
It's just a great answer.
Yeah.
Much.
Matter of fact. Now let's let us talk.
That's why I said I love the way he uses these meetings. You know, these guys come in the Oval. They think they're going to sit with him there. They probably watch what Biden did on tape. They go, oh, we'll sit there. They'll take some pictures. They'll scream. And then his people will ask the press to leave. And then we can get down to business and whatever.
Yeah.
I
don't think so.
That's not happening. I'm going to take questions and discuss everything I want you to know about how it's going to go down. I'm going to talk about it right in front of you.
What a great strategy, huh?
And what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's a great strategy. It's brilliant, as a matter of fact.
And if anything, it sets him up to say, you know what? If you're going to offer me, I'll take that. He doesn't have to keep it all the way up here. It gives him that leeway now to go into the meeting, and this guy thinking, oh, man, we were only going to offer him this. I wonder what he's going to say. And then they put their offer out there. Maybe they juice up their offer a little bit. Okay, instead of 50, let's go to $75. Okay, let's do 75 because he's asking for 100. Then he comes in there and he goes, you're going to give us 75? Okay, we'll take that. Because he was probably expecting 50.
Yeah.
You know, it's that I guess the mind game of the negotiation, which it seems that President Trump, not only is he good at, he seems to enjoy.
No politician communicates like this or talks to other politicians, even in a press setting, especially. Trump just probably says what he says in private, you know, in a press setting. Nobody does this. And I think that's like such an advantage for him. It's such a disarming advantage because most politicians, they're used to the protocol. You know, the way these things are set up and the way that they're managed by the press and the questions and everybody has things fed to them. Not here. Not here at all.
Glad handing and
all right, just getting started. 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. We'll talk more about the Trump presser today in the Oval Office. We'll do news, sports, all coming up on a Tuesday.
You guys see this post from Rosie O'Donnell, Tracy Zapparato on our social media feed saying she's talking about Trump's cognitive decline. This is her narrative. What? After saying nothing about Biden, you know, for all those years, this is her narrative now that Trump has this cognitive decline. She's such a fool. Why they even give her airtime? Oh my God. But it's a good pickup there, Tracy. Thank you.
Chat live in the chat. I signed in early tonight.
Oh, hold on. Drag Blacker just dropped a super chat. Oh, he's upping his game, Big D. $20. $20 from old Drag Blacker. You guys have been following Trump's political career for 10 years. You know, he always talks up people, even if they are bad. So why the surprise? But it's annoying that Trump brags that he helped a leftist get into power. Oof, I don't know. Strong comments there, Drag Blacker. Drag Blacker wants to get it on, Big D. But it's annoying that Trump brags that he helped a leftist get into power. I'll take leftists 500.
Bill Grimes, thank you and your wife, by the way, for the gift package you gave with the beer and the maple syrup. I had the maple syrup this morning. It was excellent.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You know, that real homemade Vermont maple syrup.
That's
Oh,
why the sugar
why-
was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Didn't you? That's why your rating was so damn high.
Right, because he drank the syrup directly. He didn't
I
put it
did
on.
not
He
realize
didn't put
that.
it on anything. He just put it in his mouth.
I put maple syrup, the good
Live
homemade
shot
stuff.
of Vin going to the doctor.
Doctor,
Ready?
I put it in my coffee. She's like, "Do you eat a lot of
Pressure's
butter?"
190 over 160. What happened?
I can do a stick of butter a week. I mean, that's no good. Milk in the coffee.
With a name like Vin Buddha, you can do a lot of
If you
butter.
think it's butter, but it's not, it's Buda. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyhow, Bill, thank you. Went into the RV, Friday night to see their setup there was awesome.
Wow. Did Delgado, you give him his gift?
no, I don't.
I might have got yours because the card says Rick. It doesn't say Slick.
Oh,
so
yours
we'll have to
says
see.
Slick.
Ah, yeah.
Mine might. I don't know. Does mine say Slick? All right. So then I must have yours. I got your bag.
You got my bag.
Yeah, I have to bring it back in. It looks like it was your bag. It was a nice bottle of
It was nice. It was nice. So happy that they came and really everybody who showed up. Amazing. Driving that RV down from Vermont.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you didn't tell anyone in Vermont you were coming down to see the show.
All right, live from Studio 6B, 17 past the hour on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do sports here coming up. Delgado's going to do news. Vinnie Mac's going to do some news as well. Aaron and Fran, of course, holding it down as they always do. And, of course, you to live from Studio 6B audience. So I have an emergency announcement to make from Joe the Box.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Joe Slick, listen up. This is maybe the most important. I know, you know how Trump today said his big announcement coming?
Oh my goodness, yes.
He teased this big announcement that's coming before he leaves for Qatar.
Yeah.
I think he said he's going, and where's he going, to the
UAE
UAE and Qatar or whatever?
and Qatar.
Yes. I have as big an announcement to make.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Or should I tease it and do mine like next week, like Trump's going to do his?
Like Monday.
Well, I have to do mine before Friday.
Well, this has something to do with Friday night?
It does.
Oh. No, you got to.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe you
got the
want to
Ferris
hold
wheel?
it. Maybe you want to hold it one
getting
day.
a-
If you're on the fence about whether you want to come to the show Friday night, I would say this probably puts it over the top because now you know where Big D is going to be before and after the show. I will not be inside. I will not be greeting anybody after the show in the house. I will be greeting people in the cigar room truck
Whoa.
that will be outside
Wow.
next to 100% Go on Frank's Steaks.
Oh.
Hello.
All right. Now we're talking cigars.
Are
and
you
Franks.
kidding me?
Cigars. Talk about your
cigar room
cholesterol.
truck?
Talk about your cholesterol, Vin.
I will be in there at 10:01
Wow.
on Friday night.
Keep your feet on the ground and keep smoking cigars.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like literally, he's going to be pushing over little kids and old ladies
Yeah.
to get to the
if you're
cigar
if
truck.
you're in my way,
Fire!
get out. I'm heading to the truck.
It's like a buffet table.
Wow.
Well, that's a good setup there. Thank you, Joe.
Wow, that is
pretty
huge
cool.
announcement.
I thought you were going to say he would have a cannoli truck or
I
something.
thought you were going
like
to say
that.
it was
That would
sold
really
out the
fit.
place.
Yeah, well,
Well, no, well, that's a good point. That'd be a secondary announcement over the cigar truck, though.
Yeah, that would be right. Well, the steak truck actually is number one.
Well, that's going to be early on the night. Yes.
I'm going to be. I'll be out there
Okay.
stepping over everybody at that point. I want
Okay,
that
very
steak
good.
Sandwich.
All right, 19 past the hour. Let's do some sports with Slick. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. If you want to shop at My Pillow, get that Rev 7. If you're looking for a good energy drink that's good for you, man, check out that Rev 7. It's so good. And, of course, if you're shopping for Mother's Day coming up or Father's Day or birthday or whatever it is, check out Mike Lindell. All the great stuff at My Pillow. Use code LFS6B at checkout. Slickster, what's going on?
Well, Rick, have you tried the Rev 7 yet?
You know what, Slick? I'm glad you brought that up because the answer would be no.
Oh, man.
I still haven't gotten any from
Don't blame
it's
my
with the
son.
Epstein files.
that guy.
Yeah, why don't you order some and just try it?
Yeah, why don't you bring some in?
Pay for
Order
it.
Oh, forget about it. Here we go, big deal. Let's get back to sports here now. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
NHL action. We got to go to the scoreboard. Obviously, playoffs are going wild right now. We got
Canadians.
two games in NHL and 2 games on the NBA. Great game last night. Knicks with a big win over Boston. Big upset taking game 1. And Denver with an amazing game, too. Just absolutely great taking over Oklahoma City last night. And we got the Capitals right now leading the Hurricanes 1-0 with 13 to go in the second period. This is East second round, game 1. And the Oilers Golden Knights, that's coming up. Puck drop at 9:30, and that's going to be in Vegas. That's West second round there as well. And NBA action at the half. Cavaliers, I wouldn't say in a must-win, but they dropped the first game. They are home tonight. They are leading the Indiana Pacers 61-50 in a game I think they really need to level the field here. That's the East semifinals, game 2. West semifinals, game 1. Timberwolves hosting the Warriors. That's a 9:30 tip-off there as well. So looking forward to those games. I will keep you abreast of the scores. And, we got some Triple Crown news, Big D, and it isn't good. Big news emerges about Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty. This was originally posted on Larry Brown Sports earlier today. Big news has been revealed about Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty, and it will come as a disappointment to many. In a statement released Tuesday, the Preakness confirmed that Sovereignty has chosen not to run the second leg of the Triple Crown. Trainer Bill Mott decided instead to focus on preparing Sovereignty for the Belmont Stakes. The decision not to run Sovereignty in the Preakness means there will be no chance of a Triple Crown winner this year. Well, it's
not unheard of anymore.
No, it's not, but it's disappointing to many, you know.
Yeah.
And as you said, Big D, this is not unprecedented, as some owners opt to skip the Preakness and challenge for the Belmont instead. Even after winning at Churchill Downs 2022, Kentucky Derby winner Rich Strike is the most recent horse to skip the Preakness after winning the first leg of the Triple Crown. The owners of 2024 winner Mystic Dan considered doing the same, but the horse did ultimately run the Preakness and finish second. Justify is the most recent horse to win the Triple Crown, having done so in 2018. That streak will continue for at least another year. So, all right, well, too bad. I would have liked to see Sovereignty run that, but it is understandable, and things that they have to do, it's understandable as far as the Belmont is also a great race. That's the last
Well,
leg.
it's a mile and a half, too,
Yeah,
so they have
one.
to get their horse ready to run that, and a lot of trainers just don't want to see the horse put in that much work in that short, compressed time frame, and they're looking out for the health of the horse, hopefully.
And that's a real smart owner. You got to
He
respect
said that at the end of the race, by the way.
He did. He was not committed.
his style, yeah.
Non-committal on that. And that's a wrap in sports for this segment. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 22 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news.
Hello.
Cut the horsing around, you.
Sugar's still going to his head.
Hello. I'm Mr.
I was watching Mr. Ed reruns all day. Sorry.
Let's do some news. News is brought to you by Eternal Life Coin. EternalLifeCoin.com, all one word. Check it out. Many of you have. Product is starting to move. Eternal Life Coin, and boy, it's getting great reviews. People keep posting 4 5-star reviews on the website saying absolutely how beautiful it is. And it absolutely is gorgeous. And in the way it's packaged, in the certificate of authenticity that you get in it, and the way it comes in the little sleeve it comes in. I mean, every detail is just a 10, the way they've thought it through. So check it out, EternalLifeCoin.com. Rick Delgado's got the news. What's going on?
All right. As we were discussing earlier, the President Trump, had a visitor to the White House from the Great White up north there. Mr. Mark Carney made a visit, the Canadian Prime Minister, earlier this afternoon. And again, he warned the the commander-in-chief that Canada will not be America's 51st state. Of course, Trump responded with, I say never. I've had many, many things that were not doable and end up being doable, he said. Trump was responding to Carney, of course, telling him that Canada wasn't for sale. But they also discussed other things as far as you know. He said, by the way, I know real estate. There are some places that are never for sale. So according to this, we could see some pushback. I think they're having a little fun with each other when it comes to this topic. When it comes to other things, though, it was basically, sit down, take it, get pantsed on live TV, and then kiss the ring, which is exactly what Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney did after going through what he went through. Here's cut number 5. Check it out for yourself. The Canadian Prime Minister praising Trump. Cut 5.
Mark, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm on the edge of my seat, actually. But thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're You're a transformational president, focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world. And I've been elected with my colleagues here, with the help of my colleagues here. I'm
Free Friday.
Strong man.
I'd like to go for dinner.
Credit to transform Canada. With a similar focus on the economy, securing our borders, again on fentanyl, much greater focus on defense and security, securing the Arctic and developing the Arctic. And the history of Canada and the U.S. is we're stronger when we work together, and there's many opportunities to work together. And I look forward to, addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation so we can move forward.
That's great. Very nice. Thank you very much. It's very nice.
You got him a whole minute to talk, and there it is.
That was good. He was good. He talked about the Arctic, which is critical. That whole area is critical, and it's one of the reasons Canada and the U.S. can make a big difference.
Yeah. For his part, Trump said he thought the meeting went very well and denied any tension with him and the prime minister. So there you have it.
Good luck finding common ground with that guy. All right, 26 past the hour. More news with Delgado and Vinnie Mac coming up. More sports with Slickster on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice. We're back right after this.
I prefer this guy over Trudeau, that's for sure. At least this guy has a clue. He's against Trump and all, but he's got a clue. He's a negotiator. He's run things. Trudeau, I just really never liked that guy.
Super chat on the YouTube, Big D. Baby J, $9.99. She said, Bondi has been 90 days and has 17,000 prosecutions initiated, and Patel, 75 days, has 18,000 arrests. Who still thinks they aren't doing anything? Sounds busy to me.
They're busy, but man, it's a mountain to climb.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well,
they're doing it.
by the inch it's a cinch, by the yard it's hard. You do what you got to do.
That's right.
That's what she said.
Janice Danielle says hi to you, Damon.
Hello.
Says,
Janice?
hello, Big D.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, he did not know that. I'm just passing it along, Janice, the messenger.
I'm interested in that. I'm thinking about that comment you just read, Slick, about them not being busy. I don't think anyone's not saying they're not busy. Obviously, the job doesn't allow you to not be busy. But what people are upset about is not that they don't have a lot of paperwork moving or they don't have a lot of investigations. It's who the investigations are of. Where are the key investigations? Did you see Representative Comer today on the Benny Johnson show?
No.
Oh. Well, there might be some explanation about why the Epstein drama is not unfolding the way some would like it. And it may never unfold the way we want it.
What did he say?
Well, maybe we'll just play the clip.
All right. Good. Save it for the air.
Absolutely. And I got another super
like
chat. Drag Blacker coming in another $5. He's up to $25 already, and we're only 28 minutes into the show. Did Vinny forget that Trudeau got all his economic advice from Carney?
I did forget that. No, I didn't even know that.
Art Carney.
That's good, yeah. Art Carney.
Dress the ball. We talked about that earlier.
Hello, ball.
Hello, ball. Wow. Drag Blacker coming in from downtown.
All right.
Thank you, Drag Blacker.
I'll make a mental note of that.
Well, keep us on track, yeah.
Art Carney. You think people have to know that one, right? Hello, ball. From the Honeymooners.
Mr. AZ Mikey, member for 3 months. Chat. Love you so much. Slick, stay fly. Damon, don't cry. Delgado, always ask why. Vinny, no more pie. The best show. Love the growth. Keep it up, fellas. Love Aaron and Fran, too. Mush. Love. Mr. AZ Mikey, another great
No more
follower.
party or no more potty? What did he say?
No more pie.
No more pie?
Yeah.
Oh.
30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Real America's Voice on a Tuesday night, May 6th. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Rick Delgado's doing the news. Vinnie Mac's going to have some news as well. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Friday night, we'll be back at the America's First Warehouse for our second live show in front of a live studio audience, and we hope to see as many of you who can be there. Man, last Friday was just fantastic. And I have no reason to think this Friday won't be as well. Hope to see as many of you there as you can be. If you're in this area, you're on Long Island, or you're in the Northeast or anywhere within, driving distance. If you like to drive a couple hours, I'd say it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Come down on a Friday night to the America First Warehouse and check us out. It's going to be fun. So we'll be there Friday. So Slick got a comment in the break when we were in the 3-minute break just now about Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. And the person said, and I understand the comment. She said, well, Pam Bondi's got X amount of investigations and he's got an X amount of investigations. So, who says they're not busy? And it's not that they're not busy. The job won't allow you to not be busy. Obviously, they're going after criminals. They're going after drugs. All that's great. But when most people think about the Department of Justice right now, they're thinking of the weaponization of the Department of Justice against President Trump. They think about Merrick Garland and how corrupt he was with Biden and the whole team, and and people want to know what happened. John Brennan and all these guys, and the 51 intelligence officers and all of it. These judges, these special counsels that they sicked after the president, and all of them, and then of course the judges. But people want to know specifically about the Epstein files because we were told that that's you remember the binders and the whole deal.
Yep.
So it's not that we know they're not busy doing the stuff that they probably should be doing, but we want to know about this other stuff. And James Comer, I happened to see on with Benny Johnson today. And, I don't know how well I don't know what this means, Delgado, but it sounds like you might be disappointed in waiting for the Epstein files, if there are any Epstein files. Here was Comer today.
I hope James has the Epstein files because I don't think the Department of Justice has them, or at least the Attorney General does not have them, or she would have turned them over. The president ordered them released. The Attorney General ordered them released. We all know they have not been released. And one of my biggest fears that I had, and I expressed this with Kash Patel and a lot of people, Stephen Miller, and a lot of people going into the new administration. I'm like, I hope they're not shredding documents right now. This was a few weeks before the transition. I said, I hope they're not shredding documents. But you all need to go on that first day and try to get all this stuff released because, my fear is from what I've dealt with in investigations and in communication with this deep state apparatus is they're probably in there shredding documents as we speak. So hopefully someone has a copy of that. And I hope we find out because our task force has done everything led by Anna Paulina Luna. You had her on your show many times. I mean, she's relentless. She's persistent. She's pretty frustrated right now that these files haven't been released, even though the president and the attorney general have ordered them released. But, it's like I told Anna the same thing I told Patel and everybody else. I'm like, you assume that somebody in the deep state said, okay, we'll just put these in a file back here, this incriminating evidence on everybody, and maybe the next administration can do whatever they want to do with it. That's unfortunately the way it's supposed to work, but it hasn't worked with this deep state.
Okay. So,
yeah,
Delgado, I'm sorry to tell you, but which, by the way, this makes the binder thing look even worse because if Pam Bondi knows, if James Comer's saying on day one, you better get in there, well, it's now day 101 or 110, whatever it is, and we've got nothing, and we went through this binder thing, and it's like, what possibly would possess them unless they're just trying to throw people off the trail or buy time to do this whole binder thing? It just makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It makes no sense.
And when you listen to that, I have to tell you, that makes the most sense to me, is that they didn't just say, okay, we'll just leave all this stuff laying around. We'll just catalog it for the next administration to come in, knowing very well, most likely it was going to be Trump. And it was going to be people like Kash Patel. people who are out there speaking for the president, people who are out there defending the president through everything he went through. You knew these people were going to be rewarded to be part of this administration. You think they sat around and just thought they're going to leave all this stuff around for people to find, for Pam Bondi or Matt Gaetz at the time to just be able to have a field day with? I think Comer's probably right. It's probably all gone.
It's not just that. They openly shredded a lot of stuff when Doge got involved. You know what should be done is the Attorney General should take all those people and anybody that shredded anything to task and arrest them.
Yeah.
That's evidence. They should find out who did that, ask questions, and take them and arrest them, because that is destroying evidence. And I completely agree with you.
Well, who?
This is obvious.
But who, though? Isn't that
Whoever
the point?
was
Who?
whoever was in there, from the FBI, the DOJ, whoever was doing it. You got your hand on there. Guess what? You're now under arrest. You weren't supposed to do that. Nobody gave you an order to do that.
How are you going to find that person? You think they just gave it to like some staffer who's got credentials who was like taking their thing and buzzing in, so there's a record of them doing it? What are you talking about?
That's how you get into these buildings. You can't just walk in.
They're not
off the street.
If they're shredding stuff, they're not doing it in some upstanding way. They're probably, who knows what they did. They probably had somebody totally off the map do it.
And that's great. They could shred, but everything is also probably saved digitally too.
You would hope.
And you've already heard Elon and his boys say, "Oh, they erased a bunch of stuff, and we got it back."
Yeah.
So anytime they think they can get rid of something, digitally off a computer, there's always a way to recover it.
And if that was the case,
and we're hoping that that's what happens.
I mean, we're hoping, but.
Yeah, we're hoping, but this is obvious. I mean, I think Damon's got it nailed down, because this explains a lot, is they just wanted to destroy all the evidence of everything. And that includes, anything that went on with the previous AG and all the nonsense in the back. I mean, I'm sure they were shredding for 60, 90 days, leading into this.
John Huck on YouTube says, "Where's Virginia Guffrey?" Well, she's dead.
Yeah.
So... All right, I just wanted to get to that clip because that comment kind of made me think about, I don't know. I don't know that we're ever going to get an update. We're joking about the Epstein Daily Update and being a blank piece of paper. I think it's going to probably continue for a long time. But you said to me there was an update today.
Supposedly there was an update today, that there were more names released.
Supposedly?
Supposedly. Pages released, and... same names. This time, I think it included Hillary Clinton a few more times. It included what's the attorney from Harvard? What's his name?
Dershowitz.
Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz was mentioned.
But who gave the update?
They had. I saw it online. I saw it on X. There was a few people posting it as an update.
I did. I saw something as well.
Oh, by the way,
had no specifics.
And I was
it had names that we had already heard of before. So it was like, I guess they expanded the search a little bit, included different names. Hillary came up a few more times, that kind of stuff. But again, they said there are going to be more documents that are going to be released by Monday or next week. So we'll see. But right now, here's your update.
Okay. Well, you're already past your. Yeah, you're already past your time horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're well past it.
That's shredded.
And by the way, as I was just reminded, if you know what you're doing and you want to get rid of something digitally, there's a lot of people who can get rid of stuff that not Big Balls or anyone else is ever going to find.
What, like Bleach Pit?
Like whatever.
Bleach Pit.
So I think we're swimming upstream on this one, but let's hope we're wrong.
Yeah.
Because we deserve to know.
Yeah.
So, Vinnie Mac is here, 39 past the hour. Vinnie Mac, what's on your mind?
China is on my mind. But before I do that, I just want to share a quick little story about how great our president is. What just a great guy he is. And I'll be very brief here, but I've got a friend of mine, one of my very few conservative friends. My liberal friends have written me off and canceled me, as you know. But this guy is a golfer, and he plays down at Trump National, down in Miami there, or right by Miami, in Doral. Anyhow, he was playing golf. He shows up, and there's like sniffing dogs and all the stuff going on. He realized, the president must be here. And sure enough, the president's there playing golf with Nick Saban. So he's online. There are 20 golf carts with armed protection for the president, and they're all, behind him, and my friend Bill is sitting there waiting to tee off, and who comes pulling up but President Donald Trump? And pulls up right next to my friend, and he says, Mr. President, I believe you have the right of way. And the president says, thank you very much, and gives him a pat on the shoulder, and then continues to go forward. You know, most presidents would not even acknowledge this guy, not even said hello. Can you imagine Biden just would have ignored him? But not our president. He's a personable, great man, and great with the regular people, and my friend Bill, it was a moment of his life because he loves the president. So well done, Bill.
Now, did Trump tip Bill? Did he throw him a tip? Because he likes to do that. He come walking out, take some money out of his pocket, throw some guy some money. Did he get a tip?
He gave him 5 big ones.
Nice.
I have a question after listening to this story, Vin.
Yes, please share.
As you know, I'm a golfer, and I played college golf at Hofstra University.
I heard that. Wow.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
How close are...
Very close. Bill's one of my closest friends. Great guy.
Okay, and did you ever think to tell Bill, like when he's on his way to Doral, hey, Bill, if you need a fourth, let me give you Big D's number so he could maybe play down at Doral with you? Because I don't remember getting a call.
I can tell you right now, Bill is watching the show, and if Bill, I'm sure he'll respond, and he will invite you next time. His buddy is a big shot down there and a member at the club, and if you want to play there, Bill, you got yourself a partner here to play with. Include Big D. You'll go.
Thank you very much. But I'd like to be there when the president is there again.
Yeah, well, but I'll have Bill research that for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
So you don't actually just want to play at Doral.
No, I want to be
You just want to be there.
You never know when he's going to show up.
Right.
You know, it was random.
I'll play the Blue Monster. Come on.
Yeah. Well, Bill knows better than to ask me to go play golf because he's seen me.
No, because he doesn't want to get thrown out of the clubs.
Well, there's that too. Thank you.
All right, what else is on your mind?
All right, so here we go. I wanted to talk to China, and talk about China. There's 3 things going on with China right now that we had been talking about for the last couple of weeks, and now they're starting to manifest. Number 1, something I did not expect, which is Chinese manufacturers actually leaving Asia and coming to the States and setting up their factories here. That is happening. These are novelty manufacturers and so on, realizing that 90+% of their business comes from the United States and orders from United States businesses, and they're starting to set up shop here. That's amazing. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, what a great result to the tariffs. Number 2, protests. You know, when you protest in China, you disappear. You get killed. We saw Tiananmen Square. There's many, many things that happen in China that we don't hear about, and people just disappear. Well, people are furious. The workers are furious. They have back pay. They're not working. They're not making any money. And what does that all lead to? This evening, the United States announced that they'll be meeting with Chinese counterparts in Switzerland this week to talk about trade. So there you go. It's coming together beautifully, one step at a time.
All right, we'll do some more with Vinnie Mac, more news with Delgado, sports with Slick. All coming up on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
Kelly had a great comment because she really appreciated the human story about the president. I think all of us who love the president love that side of him. You know, if it were any of us sitting there in a golf cart, I probably would have done the same thing. You know, just stopped and said, you know, hey man, thanks, pat on the back. And people really appreciate that. I'm glad that she commented because it's true. That's why I brought the story up. Just how many presidents can you say this about? How many actually did this kind of stuff? Maybe George Bush a little. He was kind of fun, right? But not like Donald Trump.
Remember Bush on TV talking to the press about now I want you to watch this drive.
He was funny though. I got a big kick out of him sometimes. He was funny. But that's his magic, making us feel like he's one of us. In many ways, he's a billionaire. He's a TV star. He's all these great things. He's the president.
Everything he
but he
wants
makes
to
you
be.
feel like you're still one of them. He's still one of you. It's great.
He doesn't look down on people.
No.
You know what? He seems like a happy-go-lucky guy like that.
Right.
You know, just my interactions with him, which when I was very young, was my first client was in Trump Tower, and I was there every day. I saw him every day. He was talking to everybody, but the guy running the elevator, I saw him in the restaurant talking to the waiters and waitresses. He just didn't matter. It was his building.
And he'd talk to anybody. The guy sweeping the floor, the guy
He's
balancing
just a
the
personable
books.
guy,
He's so relatable. He's relatable.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I love that.
Me too.
That's a good skill. Yeah, it's like a good networker. That's a good skill to have. You relate to anybody.
Put on a suit on X, says Damon. See what this is? I don't know what that means.
I don't
Did I
know.
miss something?
Probably.
On X,
Yeah.
this thing is flying past me.
Yeah, I'm sure I missed something. I can't read.
I think that was the X link on the Epstein file drop, which is still unconfirmed.
So Bill said, Damon, anytime you want to come down, play some golf.
Does he live
with
there?
Big Bill Buckley. He lives up in Ponte Vedra, but he drives down to Miami there to
Good.
play with his buddy.
All right. How many strokes is Bill going to give me aside? What's his handicap?
3 pecks and a bushel. Yeah. I don't know what his handicap is. He's a big guy.
My handicap. All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Okay. All right.
On a Tuesday night, Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick
Yeah.
Rick's doing sports. They got us doing news. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts as well. We'll get back to all of them. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. I want to just took some time last night to give you the number to the Senate switchboard, but I probably should have given you the number specifically to Senator Tom Tillis's office, because that's where your calls really need to go. Because what we hear from Tom Tillis today, this is somebody who absolutely does not care that you voted for America First. He does not care that you voted for President Trump's agenda. He does not care that you voted for the rule of law. He does not care that you voted to end these judges who put on these black robes, who think they're the executor, that they're the chief, that they're the person in charge, that they're the executive of the country. He does not care about any of that. He cares about being welcome on MSNBC, being welcomed on CNN, being welcomed at the New York Times, the Washington Post, the cocktail parties in D.C. He doesn't care about his constituents in North Carolina who overwhelmingly voted for President Trump's agenda, President Trump's law and order, President Trump's people, President Trump's vision of getting to the bottom of how dirty these people are. And Eagle Ed Martin in D.C. is what President Trump wants. And Tom Tillis has decided that he is going to stand in the way of that because he has he's not happy about something Ed did on January 6th people. And he's willing. This is a guy who voted for Merrick Garland, had no problem
My God.
voting for Merrick Garland. I think at the Liberty score, he's an F. So you can imagine the things he's voted for, no problem. Never heard him go in front of the cameras and talking, I don't like that, like he was doing today. And how many times has this guy's name come up? I saw this list this morning and I tweeted about it. I'm so sick of seeing the same names when it comes to these kind of things. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Tom Tillis. They're all the same. John Cornyn today. John Cornyn comes out and says, "Oh, okay, I'm going to support Ed Martin, but I'm not crazy about it." Well, we know why you're saying this, because you want to get yourself out of the fire, because you know there's enough. You got Tom Tillis, who's absolutely not going to support him. So why look like the bad guy when you can look like a liar and then say, oh, yeah, I support him. And then you go, oh, geez, he didn't make it because Tom Tillis. Well, I was on the right side. Who's he kidding? We know what he's doing. That's what he's doing. But man, oh man, I am calling on President Trump tonight. I don't know. Maybe he has already. I don't know. But President Trump needs to take a very public stance against Tom Tillis and against anybody who's going to run against him. They're going to need 10, 15 million bucks or whatever it's going to be to primary this guy. He needs to come out. He needs to say, I'll write the damn check myself.
Yeah.
He needs to take a very public stance. This is saying, this is the guy I want. There's absolutely zero reason to be standing in his way. He's in the acting role now. And this is what the people voted for. The people didn't vote for, well, let's wait and see what Tom Tillis thinks. No. People in the country didn't do that. People in his state didn't do that. They voted for Trump's agenda, Trump's people, and Trump's vision of what law and order should look like in these prosecutorial decision makings that have to go on in these big cities. And he wants Ed Martin in D.C., and he should get him. And we shouldn't be sitting here saying, we're going to allow Judge Boasberg to appoint this person because Tom Tillis has some problem with January 6th? Are you kidding me? This guy President Trump needs to make a very public stance against this. He's the only one who can do it. He does it against Thomas Massey. He does it against Chip Roy. He does it against Rand Paul. He does it against these guys on spending when they have the courage or their convictions to actually be really in on cutting spending. And he calls them names and does all this stuff, and well, that's fine, whatever. It is what it is. But this is where we need him to do this, when it actually matters against things that we should not be for. He needs to come out very strongly against this guy.
You know, the overriding circumstance here that, let's just say that, okay, he may not like this pick, but when you see this James Boasberg, this guy who's been horrific for the country, not to mention the MAGA movement, horrific for the country and the Trump agenda, the fact that he would have the pick, he would be the one to pick it, that overrides any negativity whatsoever this guy might have for this pick that Trump wants. It overrides it completely. I mean, that's the choice. You've got a judge that you might not like because of January 6th, or a judge that we all hate, who's done everything he can to unwind the Trump agenda, that you're going to now allow to make this pick. It's sort of beyond like, I'm not going to support the pick. It's supporting this rogue judge, Boasberg. That's what it's saying.
Yeah. And he's doing it on purpose. He doesn't want Martin picked. It's not that he's looking at it, well, he supported January 6th guys. No, he doesn't want Martin picked because Martin is not one of them. Yeah. He's an outsider. Tom Tillis is a swamp rat. He might as well be a Democrat, but he wears an R on his sleeve, and that's how he gets himself appointed. That's the problem. So you sit there and be like, but it's going to be Boasberg. He's probably smiling. He probably hangs out with Boasberg.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
All these guys are all scumbags. They're all hanging out together. They're all rubbing shoulders. They're all drinking little scotch drinks going, ooh, who are we going to screw next? What are you getting paid on? Yeah, can you cut me in on that? That's what these guys are all about. They don't care. They care about guys like Ed Martin coming into that office and all of a sudden start picking up things and looking underneath going, what do we have here, Mr. Tillis? Tillis has probably got some skeletons in his closet. I would hope they would investigate that and find something and say, Mr. Tillis, could this be why you don't want Mr. Martin as the attorney here? Because I think what, Damon, you talk about the Democrats sticking together. I guarantee.
Right, but he's got to keep his job for all of what you're saying.
What do you mean, who's got to keep it?
Tillis.
Yeah, we could primary him out.
That's my point.
No.
Everything you're saying, he likes to do this. He's one of the guys. He's does that.
Right.
Well, to do all of that, good or bad, he has to have the job.
I understand.
He needs to come out and say, This guy's career needs to be over, and I'm going to do everything I can if he can't support this nomination. This is the guy I want. This is what the people voted for. This is what we should be doing. And I don't want to hear from Tom Tillis about something that happened 5 years ago, and he's going to stand in the way now.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying here. I'm saying that this guy needs to be held to account, and they need to have a discussion with him, and not in the press, but take him aside and be like, "Hey, Tillis, here's what we got on you. You really want to go down this road? Because if you want to, then we're gonna primary you, and it's gonna get ugly, and you're gonna lose."
This is a perfect example, though, where Trump needs to use the sledgehammer.
Right, and this is why I'm trying to equate what the Democrats do. You know, they have stuff on their people, and they use it all the time to keep them in line.
He said he would go along with this with any other state but D.C. I mean, to your point,
right?
Like, what's going on in D.C.?
Here he is. Here he is. A little bit of this clown today. Here he is.
He is. I don't believe he's being advanced to the markup. And I met with Mr. Martin. He seems like a good man. Most of my concerns related to January 6th.
Okay, so most of my concerns related to January 6th.
That's an easy out.
What, that fake riot that they...
come on.
All right, hour 2 coming up live from Studio 6B right after this.
Fake insurrection?
So sick.
I know that. Just saying.
Yo, man. Keep that going, friend. Let me hear that. That sounds like the blues. Come on.
That sounds like the blue right there. That might be the next intro now for the guests. For the reads, I should say.
I could play the kazoo. It's really very difficult. I saw that guy from Blues Traveler once, perform. That guy's harmonica. Amazing on the harmonica. Pretty homely looking guy. Amazing. He sucks. All of a sudden you're a harmonicologist.
Taylor, come on.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I like that one a lot. Is that new?
No, it's just been a while since I played it.
Oh man, you should play that every night.
Oh. Graham is feeling a little nostalgic.
Hey, Aaron, that Bruce Blakeman endorsement from Trump, we should get Bruce at the warehouse on a Friday night. He'd be great.
Yeah. He's fired up.
Yeah.
We should reach out to his office.
County.
You call.
Well, we pick up the phone and call him. You want to do it on air? No, we probably shouldn't.
I only have the Suffolk County executive's phone number, cell phone. I don't know Blakeman.
Who's the Suffolk County executive?
Ed Romaine. I love Ed.
Oh yeah, Ed Romaine. I like Ed too. I don't know him as well. I don't know Bruce at all, but I got a feeling he'd like the show.
Yeah, sure would.
He might like the cigar thing too. You can hang out with him, talk a little turkey.
Insider myself on Rumble asks, "Is Damon gay?"
Oh,
well, not as far as I know.
No, but he was listening to Liza Minnelli.
I will identify sometimes as a Broadway star if I feel like singing.
Yeah.
I think you're gay for the blues, right?
I love a parade.
Yeah.
You love the blues.
He's theatrically talented.
I was in the theater, yes.
Yeah.
I played the piano. I was a music major.
Raindrops and roses and whiskers.
I played for Cabaret.
Oh,
Did you dance a cabaret?
No.
Kidding me?
Played for
Asking.
Joseph, the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Godspell.
Wow, that's a good one.
Very nice.
Slick has many of those.
That's a good
amazing Technicolor
Into the Woods.
Yeah.
My whole closet is a Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Let's see, what else? Too many to mention.
That's some good shows.
I don't think that qualifies me as gay. But
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
There isn't.
Right.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Or 2, college grad failure says, well, there it is. Nobody straight plays for Cabaret.
Come to
9 o'clock on the East Coast, Real America's Voice on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do some sports. Coming up right here, Delgado's going to do some more news. Vinnie Mac's going to have some more thoughts. Aaron and Fran holding it down. What were we doing? Well, we were talking about Tom Tillis.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, in the last segment. So we'll get back to that as well. But again, and there's a lot of stuff I'm reminded of as I go through social media on Tillis and how awful he has been. I'm reminded in 2019, Tom Tillis didn't just oppose Trump declaring a national emergency to secure the border. Tillis wrote a passionate op-ed for the Washington Post. See, this is where he wants to be welcome. This is where his bread is buttered. These are the people he wants to make sure he can still get in with. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about Trump. He doesn't care about what you voted for. He wants to make sure the Washington Post comes to him. He can write an op-ed. The New York Times comes to him. MSLSD wants him on. Go on with Jake Tapper on State of the Union where he lives. He wrote a passionate op-ed for the Washington Post about why he had to vote against it. Morality, intellectual honesty, the Constitution. Tillis explained in detail why he couldn't vote in favor of President Trump at the time declaring a national emergency over the border. A couple weeks later, after a little backlash from his constituents, he voted in favor of Trump's emergency declaration. Read about his flip-flop. It's comical. These people are so fickle and unprincipled. Tillis, like most of them, does what he thinks is good for himself, period. He couldn't care less about what happened on January 6th. That's our friend Maze Moore online reminding us of that. And he's absolutely right. Tillis is just a gold-plated, empty suit phony and always has been. And he's been on the wrong side of everything. He has no backbone. He has no courage of his convictions. And the whole idea that he's trying to use something 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, to now say, I'm not going to vote for the guy President Trump wants in this extremely important role. And as Vinnie Mac points out, even if you have some problem with the guy, you talk to him, the alternative is the judge appoints the person. What do you think that does for the president in D.C.? You think it's helpful? I mean, it's just crazy.
Not only is it not helpful for the president, it's not helpful for the country. It's not helpful for your fellow Republicans that you're supposedly, part of the party there, Mr. Tillis. As a matter of fact, F&B Tay 1921 on the Twix chat has given us Tom Tillis' office number if you want it. You want to be able to call his office? It's 202-224-6342. Give him a shout, say hello, and tell him how you feel about Ed Martin.
I don't think anyone would answer. I'd call him on air, but I don't think there'll be anybody there right now. But
leave him a message. We want his he needs machine to be full.
Let's remember some other things about Tillis. He supported a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. He supports red flag laws. He was also set against border wall funding, but was pressured into supporting it. He's an ardent anti-Trumper. He pushed for the protection of Robert Mueller. Remember that? The investigation for the Russia hoax?
Yeah, joke.
This guy's the worst of the worst. These are the guys, as I continue to rail about, we got to elect better people in the primaries. And we got to start focusing on state legislatures as we have in the supermajorities that we have and start actually making red states red as they can make blue states blue. These are the kind of guys I'm talking about. We have got to stop electing people like this. Our leaders have got to stop supporting people like this. In 2020, North Carolina was ready to make a change, if I remember it correctly. And you know how Tillis survived? He survived from the endorsement of President Trump. And now he needs to do just the opposite. And he needs to do it publicly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think also Trump needs to make an example of this guy. This is not going to be the only time. There's a couple of those rhinos in the Senate. We know who they are. They're the ones that disrupt this close vote advantage we have right now in the Senate. Mitch McConnell and Murkowski, Collins, the rest of the group. He needs to make an example of this guy, like a real hatchet job or a private meeting that just absolutely fillets him and gets him to change his vote. Because these are the things that are going to hold us up. He has to make a big statement here, I think.
Well, he's got 14 days to do it, because on the 20th, I believe the date is of May. If Ed Martin's not confirmed, then Boasberg gets to make the appointment.
Unbelievable.
So, all right, let's do some sports. 5 minutes past the hour here. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, Big D. Well, 7 shot in Okese Bar when several people opened fire during NBA playoffs. This is Orr Hawkins of Breitbart. Yes, 7 people were shot when several individuals opened fire in an Oklahoma City bar while watching the Thunder Nuggets NBA playoff game Monday night. ABC News reported that shots rang out in the patio area at the Collective about 10:40 p.m. 7 people were hit by gunfire, 4 of whom were seriously wounded. 2 other people were injured by flying glass. The gunshot victims and those wounded by glass are all expected to survive. The Oklahomian noted that a Cinco de Mayo celebration at the Collective was happening at the same time that the NBA playoff game was being shown on televisions in the bar. Police believe an altercation preceded shots being fired and that at least 2 people were firing guns. No arrests have been made as of yet, and police indicated many witnesses left before talking with investigators. The Oklahoma City Thunder's game against the Denver Nuggets was the opening game of the Western Conference semifinals. The Thunder lost to the Nuggets with a score of 119 to 121. So, that's some story there. We'll keep an eye on that and find out how those individuals do. Fortunately, it sounds like they're going to survive, but, it sounds like it's a little bit of a stretch, but the games were on. I don't know if it was related, but I guess we'll find out more so. But, yeah, that's really a crazy story. And, listen to this one. Good one. Trump names, friend of the show, Andrew Giuliani, son of former New York City mayor and friend of the show, Rudy Giuliani, to FIFA World Cup Task Force. Andrew Giuliani will serve as the executive director of the task force. Paulina Dadaj of Fox News reporting. Andrew Giuliani, the son of former New York City mayor Rudy Giuliani, was appointed executive director of the White House task force for the 2026 FIFA World Cup on Tuesday. President Donald Trump made the announcement in a Truth Social post Tuesday after holding the first official meeting with the task force. Members of his cabinet and FIFA President Gianni Infantino were also in attendance. I am proud to announce the appointment of Andrew Giuliani as the executive director of the president's task force on the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Trump's announcement said. During my first term, Andrew served as a special assistant to the president and associate director of the Office of Public Liaison, playing a key role in creating the system that enabled athletes from around the world to re-enter the United States during the reopening of America in 2020. In March, Trump signed an executive order establishing the task force for the soccer tournament, which will be hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Trump will serve as the chair of the task force, while Vice President J.D. Vance will serve as the vice chair. As the executive director, Giuliani will be tasked with managing and overseeing daily operations. Speaking to members of the press after the meeting, Trump praised Giuliani and his father, calling the latter the greatest mayor in New York's history. He's going to be great. I've known him for a long time. He's a highly competitive golfer, really good. He's also a highly competitive person, and he loves what we're doing. I want to congratulate you and your family and your father, your great father, who is the greatest mayor in the history of New York. And Trump said jokingly, it's a big post. You better do well, Andrew. Trump also announced Tuesday that Carlos Cordero, a FIFA senior advisor, will serve as senior advisor on the task force. FIFA World Cup is going to be big stuff, Big D. We can't wait for that. And Andrew, that's a nice appointment there. Mm-hmm. So that's a wrap in sports for now. I'll have an update on some scores of the NBA and NHL playoffs coming up in my next sports segment.
All right, Slick, very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell, MyPillow, mypillow.com/LFS6B. If you're looking to shop at MyPillow, use our code. We appreciate it. I think we're still are we still doing the free t-shirt if you use the code, Aaron? I think we are, right? Yeah, people who use the code, if you send in, we stopped it? Oh, we stopped it May 1st. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's fine. Use the code anyways. It's fine. If you want a shirt, send it in. We'll still send it to you. It's fine. Laura Ingraham tonight, North Carolina is not being well served. Tillis has always been a Trump-hating, open borders, pro-perpetual war GOP nightmare. That's well put.
Oh, boy.
That's about, 10 words? That's good use of 10 words there. That's exactly right on.
Yeah. A little reminder, too, it was Tom Tillis who was trying to upend Pete Hegseth, if you remember.
We railed about this guy. We've railed about this guy as much as Collins, Murkowski. The only one I've railed more against that I hate more is, of course, Mitch McConnell.
Oh, yeah.
The only one. Hate in a, political sense
in a political
of the
sense.
party.
Yeah.
People start sending me emails. I hate.
Well, I already got a message.
But just the worst. I'm so sick of these people. Collins, Murkowski, Graham most of the time. Mitch, of course, the worst ever. There's no one even close to second than him. He's the worst ever. And Tillis is now on the list.
Yeah.
It's just too many times his name comes up in these situations. We got to get rid of these people. We have to stop electing these people. We have to stop endorsing these people. We have to start endorsing the true conservatives who are running against these people. They may be less known. They may have less money. But we got to look at actually what they believe in, how they'll vote, what they stand for. Too many times we've had guys that would have been serious, good guys, and we end up with this guy. I can't explain it. I cannot explain the endorsements. I've never been able to. I catch all kinds of grief about it, but this is why I complain about it. I'll never understand these two endorsements, McConnell and this guy in 2020.
It seems to be with the Republicans, too, always. You don't see the Democrats really having these challenges.
No, not against their own people.
No, never. They no matter what happens, and maybe it's how they manage from the top, like the speaker or the leader of the party, how they manage everything. Maybe it's our leadership that's not managing it down as strong as they need to, because you don't ever see a Democrat, except for the guy from West Virginia. What's his name again? The real conservative Democrat. He retired.
He ain't that conservative. No. I mean, Joe Manchin.
Joe Manchin. Well, Manchin at least spoke out a little bit, but he rarely voted against the team there. We seem to have this all the time. It's been a little better, the last since Trump got in here, a little better. But this was the big downfall of Trump's first presidency. And then in the past, it's just always been like this. We just can't control these people, or
that's because
they're just phonies.
They don't think, though, Vin. The difference is their ideology is the way of them. That's right. That's the way they are. There is no thought put into it. Like, what do I think about this? What's the right thing to do? How do I think this affects people? That's why, because it's just like a drone. That's why Pelosi. It's like puts the fist down. That's why I say the iron fist of Pelosi.
That's right.
There was no thinking about it. Debating it, thinking what was right. They don't think like that. They don't operate like that. Our guys, okay, yeah, it's great that we think, but that's why, more importantly, we have to elect real conservatives.
Agreed.
Who, when the time comes up on these things, they do the right thing. We don't act like drones on our side. But the problem is, we got guys with no backbone who talk like Republicans and then vote like Democrats.
They say what they need to get elected. That's it.
God, I sound angry now. I'm not that angry. 3 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Kind of depressing, actually.
He's angry.
Your theater coach called, said, "Calm down. Don't say hate."
Did you have dinner tonight?
Yeah.
River.
He's method acting now. Great.
They go crazy when you think you're like all over him after. In real life, they really can't stand each other. That's a
yeah. Stephen House says, "Preach it, Big D," and Big D's got a right to be upset here. This is a big deal. Big deal.
Let's go.
Yeah. Come on, Balboa.
Ooga.
I saw a trailer today for Rocky 7.
Damon, no backbone. They are compromised and need to be exposed. Dave, I get that. I think that's almost giving them a cheap way out. To always just say, they're compromised.
They need to be out.
They're just pathetic. They're weak. They're weak thinkers. They're not smart people. Just saying, he's compromised, that's why he acts like this, is just giving them, to me, it almost lets them off the hook too easy, because you're never going to prove that.
I don't think that lets them off the hook.
Most of them are not compromised, by the way.
I think a lot of them are involved in shady stuff that they can't allow somebody to expose, or else they wouldn't be multi-millionaires 10 times over.
It's a combination of all that.
Yeah.
I agree.
They don't want their money trains upset.
Well, there's nothing more that can upset their money strain than losing your job.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what has to happen. Yeah,
That's my point.
yeah, no, I agree. Well, and young Senate leadership needs to step up here.
Then on the other side, you need some of these scumbags to stay in office.
Yeah,
They
I know.
lose the seat, and he doesn't get any of those. At least now he's got at least a majority of them.
What's the difference? You ain't going to vote for most of it anyways.
He's got a
That's why I
majority.
say it's 90-10 in the Senate, Democrats to Republicans. No, we have the majority. No, we don't. Stop.
Well, to cheer you up, you got 2 reads here.
Oh, that should make him feel a lot better. And I think Randy says it well. Big D is mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. And I think that's the attitude that needs to happen.
No, we ain't gonna.
Sometimes you got to get fired up. I think, and Trump, I'm not sure if this needs to be done really publicly or not. Uh-oh, I don't know what that was.
You all right there? You need a doctor?
Slick sang a line from a rock song and pulled a hernia, I believe.
Charlie Kirk's. Oh, this is not Charlie Kirk. It's Charlie Kirk commentary. I don't know who that is. Tom Tillis won't vet Ed Martin out of committee that needs to be removed from the committee and replaced with someone that will vote to confirm. Well, 17 past the hour live from Studio 6B. I'm going to read you something. I'm just going to find it first, and then I'm going to read it to you. And I think you'll like it as soon
Sounds
as
like
I
the
find
Blues
what it is.
Clues.
What is it? What am I reading here, Aaron? Okay, my friends. It's fine. It's fine.
That helps.
Well, tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans. Now, just so you know, Fran tells me 4 minutes ago that I have 2 reads here. And then I keep talking about Tom Tillis, and I get distracted, and then I'm not prepared. So
Tom
let's start
Tillis.
this again. Here we go. Sound like the blues. Let me talk to you about our friends over at Tax Network USA. Tax day may have passed, but for millions of Americans, the real trouble is just beginning. If you missed the April 15th deadline or you still owe back taxes, the IRS is ramping up enforcement. Every day you wait only makes things worse, with over 5,000 new tax liens filed daily. In tools like property seizures, bank levies, and wage garnishments, the IRS is applying pressure at levels we haven't seen in years. Increased administrative scrutiny means collections are moving fast. The good news, there's still time for Tax Network USA to help. You self-employed, or you're a business owner, listen up. Even if your books are a mess, they've got you covered. Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos and getting you back on track fast. Even after the deadline, it's not too late to regain control. Your consultation is completely free, and acting now could stop penalties, threatening letters, and surprise levies before they escalate. So call right now, 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000, or visit tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV. You may have missed April 15th, but you haven't run out of options. Let Tax Network USA help before the IRS makes the next move. 1-800-905-8000. Well, think about it. Every dollar you spend is either supporting your values or they're working against them. In today's economy, where you spend your money matters. That's how we take back our country. Patriot Mobile is leading the way as America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Switch today without sacrificing quality or service. You'll get exceptional nationwide coverage because unlike most budget wireless providers, Patriot Mobile has access to all 3 of the major U.S. networks. You can even add 2 numbers on 2 networks on one phone, something the big guys can't even do. That is pretty cool. 2 numbers on 2 networks on one phone. Stay connected with flexible unlimited data plans to fit your lifestyle. These plans offer high-speed data, mobile hotspots, international roaming, device protection, and even internet backup. Here's the best part. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting faith, family, freedom. If you believe in our First and Second Amendment rights, the sanctity of life, and you're supporting our veterans, this is where you belong with our friends at Patriot Mobile. Switching is simple. You keep your number, keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team will get you activated in minutes. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/RAV, patriotmobile.com/RAV, or call 972-PATRIOT to get a free month of service with promo code RAV. Make the switch. Defend freedom with every call and text that you make. That's patriotmobile.com/RAV, patriotmobile.com/RAV, or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, 20 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do some news. Rick Delgado's got it. News is brought to you by our friends at EternalLifeCoin.com. EternalLifeCoin.com. If you have a friend who is religious or just a believer, and just a great something to carry with you, as just a reminder, kind of taking every day as a blessing and never taking anything for granted. Yeah. I carry mine with me all the time. EternalLifeCoin.com. Check it out, EternalLifeCoin.com. It is a beautiful piece. Delgado's got the news. What's going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you heard about the new target that the Democrats are going after. We were just talking about Tom Tillis. Well, they're going after one of their own here, Damon. Remember a gentleman by the name of Senator John Fetterman? Yeah. Well, turns out they've got their sights set on old John Fetterman, the Democrat out of Pennsylvania, the senator, as his time on Capitol Hill is going to be set ablaze with this new expose that came out. Report raising questions about alleged tensions with his wife, Giselle, over his health regimen, his stance on Israel, and her reported run-ins with his staff. Fetterman insists, though, he's in good health, but staffers past and present say they no longer recognize the man they once knew. New York Magazine's Intelligencer lays out recollections from former and current staff members who worked with the Pennsylvania Democrat in May of 22. Of course, you remember Fetterman suffered that serious stroke during his campaign. The article also relates to several reported instances, including a February 2023 situation at the Democratic caucus retreat at the Library of Congress. A staffer told the outlet that he received a message questioning how Fetterman was doing. He found him sitting at a table alone, silently drinking a soda. I guess you can't sit at a table by yourself and have yourself a drink.
By the way, he's about the closest thing they have to an individual actual thinker in the damn party.
Yeah.
By the way.
This is a classic
That's why they
smear
got to get
job.
rid of him.
It's a classic smear job.
Right,
this is a
smear
PR
job. They're going after
manufactured classic smear job. Get a couple of people in the press to trash this guy, bring out some fake stories from the past, make him look bad, pressure him out. It's classic.
Well, it's the wrap-up smear.
Yep.
They put out some fake stories. Everybody starts writing about it, and they come around and they start talking about it, and they market it, as Pelosi would say. Here is John Fetterman, cut number 11, talking about the hit job that Democrats put out on him. Cut 11. Check it out.
Yeah, no one's ever seen that. It's a one source story with a couple anonymous sources. Hit piece from a very left publication. There's really nothing more to say about that.
He said he was worried that you're not taking your medications. Are you taking your medications, sir?
Again, the hit piece, anonymous source.
Yeah, so the hit piece coming after him. Former and current staffers paint a picture of the senator having erratic behavior, and he's become almost impossible to work for, and whose mental health situation is more serious and complicated than previously reported because he's not voting and talking like them. After staffers wrote a letter, I put that part in. After staffers wrote a letter about Fetterman's gutting betrayal supporting Israel, the report went on to allege that Giselle confronted him about Jerusalem, bombing refugee camps, and other things of the sort. They also reportedly said that she went to staffers with her concerns about him, while the Senate physician in December reported him acting bizarrely near the Senate subway while he had not had blood work in months. So there you have it. Just a clip of what they will do to you. At least that's what the other side does.
That's just such nonsense. You know, and the thing that really burns me up about this whole story is Israel and his support of Israel and the fact that they're coming out trying to bury him. And that's part of the burying him.
Right.
Is his support of one of our closest allies, England, Israel, I mean, Canada. These are like our big closest allies in the world. And this is what they're doing. They're pushing him out using the Israeli thing. That's how screwed up the party is right now, that they would use Israel as a talking point to get rid of this guy.
To get rid of him, right.
It's crazy. It goes to show you how radical they have become. They are extraordinarily radical.
Yeah.
Can I bring something up here I'm seeing on social media here for a second, Delgado, then we'll do some more news?
Sure.
Roger Stone tonight says if Senator Tom Tillis does not support Ed Martin for U.S. Attorney in D.C. Lara Trump, a native North Carolina, should challenge Tillis for re-election in the 2026 Republican U.S. primary. And someone said, Damon, what a great idea. You should broadcast this on your show.
Yeah.
I think if we go back to the tapes, I have probably brought this up, I don't know, 50 times when talking about Tom Tillis, that Lara Trump should do this. Forget running in Florida as she was thinking about doing. I said run in North Carolina against this guy. Maybe 50 times I've said it over the last 6 months to a year on this show. No? Yes? Anybody?
I don't know.
Definitely.
Bueller?
I don't recall.
Bueller?
I don't recall.
Bueller. 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More news. Vinnie Mac, Rick Delgado, more sports with Slick, all coming up right after this.
She'd win, too. I think she'd win in North Carolina.
Chat, I love you.
Vinny.
Thank you very much, all of you in there who actually listen to what I say.
Yeah.
Unlike the three buffoons on the set.
I just didn't ring. I didn't record. That didn't ring a bell. I mean,
that doesn't ring a bell.
A lot of stuff goes across this.
I'll ring
show.
your bell. Only
Aaron
100
knows.
times.
He said it.
Literally 100 times. I'll bet.
Maybe a dozen times.
How do we do that, by the way? Fran, how do these shows who do a show every night, how do they catalog if they want to go back and, like, how do they do that? Like, find a show.
They have somebody that just does that. That's what they do.
Archive.
Or do they do it by like the transcript, and it goes into a database, then you can search by word.
I mean, they probably have someone that does that as well.
That's what we need to figure out how to do.
They have a logger that logs the shows that happens, and they transcribe stuff.
Yeah.
Time code mark it, save it.
I got to get old Raj on that one.
Yeah, we
got to write a program.
I don't think you have to write a program for that. You can get a program for that. Transcript analysis? That's not complicated. Thank you. I can give you some pointers on that.
Maybe we could call Coca.
You got to write new code.
Coca Caca could do it.
Yeah, well, no one has to do it. It's there.
Moron.
There we go. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very nice. Let's get back to Larry.
It's feisty tonight. Oh, you hungry? Did you eat dinner tonight?
I know, he didn't eat.
Yeah.
Did you eat?
No.
I didn't eat either.
He was drinking coffee, and then I saw him drop a mushroom in there. I don't know what happened after that. He's gone nuts.
I just got a price on that program. It's $100,000. It's $1 million, I think.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There you go.
Would you buy?
Hey, Roger, how much?
$1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
You could put up the money. What are you talking about? That's like a Saturday night out for you.
That's
what the
nothing.
hell are you talking about? Your club.
That's how much I pay to scalp tickets.
Your little foo-foo club down there.
Ron and Norma
whatever it's
Klein.
called.
Damon, I remember you said this.
Thank you. Who said that?
Ron and Norma Klein.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, they're good.
Thank you.
I love them too.
And then let's see who else is on here. That
Kathy
said
on
Damon
YouTube
did
says,
not
Damon,
say it.
don't look at Vinny in that tone of voice.
Thank you. You see? You see, it's singed to my face too.
Vinny's been getting that look for 11 years now. So
yeah. I have to put an SPF 40 on the side of my face because it's burning so hard.
I love that idea you brought up, Vin, by the way, with your friend.
What's that?
The backstage.
The what?
Oh, actually, I have an update for you. Vin's paying it's $2 million. Raj is upping the ante.
Yeah, Raj is trying to make up for lost time, I think, too.
How about go check that you Charles Livingston, Damon. Charles Livingston.
Charles Livingston says Damon's the weak link of the show. Duh, you just figuring this out now? How long have you been watching the show? Is this your first day?
Film at 11.
Hey,
hello.
Easy on the guy. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention when you talk. like the rest of us.
Maybe he's going to drop a $100 super chat next.
Right.
30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday, May 6th. Glad you're in. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado's going to do some more news. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what else is on your mind today?
A couple of things not so super newsworthy, but interesting things that I've seen. By the way, we were talking about what a great guy Trump is, how he's perceived by people, how he's such a human, normal guy, down to earth. There's a clip, Aaron, we have that clip, I think, right, of an outsider, an African guy talking at a protest, believe it or not, about the President of the United States, someone who sees it from the outside. Let's take a quick look at that.
And they think that the more they make noise, the more they get things done. To get things done calls for what? Pragmatic assessment on how you're going to get things done. Not this wasting of time and just protesting somebody who loves his country. In my life, I've never seen such hate in a country like America, the way they hate only one man. How is that possible? How can you hate one man just because he loves his country? What is this?
What up?
I travel all the way from Africa to come to this country legally to make sure the American dream is realized by me. My kids are born here, so I have
you mind sharing your name?
My name is Faze.
Faze, spell that.
Yes, F-A-Y-Z.
F-A-Y-Z. Make sure you guys share this and tag people who need to hear this message and make sure this guy goes famous.
Sometimes you need.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
you
me
need
too.
An outsider.
He's awesome.
Yeah, But what he
hit him on
said,
the show.
You could we'll contact his agent now. He's going to be all over social media.
I'm looking him up right now.
Yeah, come to the warehouse.
But, here's someone who's just a sincere person, came to this country. He came from Africa, obviously came from probably a bit of a suppressed atmosphere, dealing with leaders that are dictators and corruption, all the stuff that happens throughout the continent there. And they come here and he's looking at a guy like Trump and he's like, well, he loves the country. Like, why does everybody hate on him so much? And I have to tell you, pal, get used to it because there's a lot of brainwashing going out, a lot of brainwashing. In fact, I think I've mentioned to the folks out here on the show a few times about my friends that have canceled me. One of them actually thinks I'm part of a brown shirt movement, which is, if you remember the brown shirts, those who studied history back during the Nazi times, those were the militias that, helped Hitler rise to power. This guy, whom I've known since grade school, actually has the gall to use something this strong to describe what he views as not only this show, which he thinks is a talking piece to support, like a brown shirt would, Trump, but me personally too. And it's appalling. And what's more appalling about it is that people actually believe this. This is something they listen to and they think that is accurate. On a positive side, Trump met with Dr. Phil on National Prayer Day or National Faith Day, something like that, bringing it back to our country, bringing it back to the forefront of our government. And I saw a story today that happened on Saturday. There was a mass baptism in California, and it had 7,000 people. When people look at our country, and some of us look at it sometimes skeptically and saying, faith is gone, faith is gone. It's not. Trump not only has brought it to the forefront, but people are seeing that too. Because what we see from not only the left, just in general, just this whole immoral, different way of looking at life that doesn't include faith, doesn't include all the good fundamentals that we grew up with. Just being good people, being honest, respecting your neighbor, working hard, all the American values that the progressive left have hijacked that, including faith. And it's an amazing thing to see that it's a record, the most people baptized, ever in one group sitting here in this country, for sure, over 7,000 people. So I wanted to touch on that and say what a great thing it is for our country to have that restored, but also to see that happen. A couple of things that I wanted to point out. One thing I wanted to get to on Friday night, I wasn't able to. I want to talk about it now. And I'd love to have a doctor on to talk about this. We've talked about the COVID vaccines. We've talked about they weren't really vaccines. I mean, quite frankly, they were harmful. And there are doctors speaking out about all that. But what I want to know, and there's a study that just came out in Florida, is what's happening to us now. if you took the vaccine. I had to take the vaccine. I got the Moderna one because I was traveling all over the country and the world at that time, and I couldn't get on a plane. I couldn't do anything, frankly.
No.
I had to have the vaccine. I tried to fake it. I tried to adjust the card. I tried to cheat a little bit. I couldn't pull it totally off, and I was nervous I'd get caught. So I got the vaccine. But here's the thing. What's going on in my body right now? Because in Florida, there was a study done about the Pfizer vaccine, which says that the vaccine might actually have killed 470 people, not of COVID, of these side effects. They say it increased the risk of death by 36% for things outside of COVID. That's the staggering. Now, aren't vaccines supposed to save you, not increase your risk of death? So I'd love it, Damon, if we can get one of those doctors on, Dr. McCullough or some of these guys to talk about, we know about the vaccine, but what about what's going on in our bodies right now because of the vaccine? I went to the cardiologist. One of the reasons I actually went is because I've heard of the heart disease and the things that it's done cardiovascularly to your body from the vaccine. I'm concerned. It concerns me in a big way. Cancer. Yeah. I had cancer. I beat it. But who's to say that this hasn't created a path for something else to pop up? Like we have enough to deal with. We have to deal with a vaccine that's causing these side effects. I thought it was a staggering study, a real wake-up call. Someone's got to be held accountable, but we need doctors to talk about this now so we can deal with what we have to do to not have to have these effects.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back to Vin and some more news here in a second, but please welcome back to the show here representing Done with Debt, Jillian Barbery. Jillian, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for having me again, guys. I was talking about Done with Debt today with a friend of mine, and she knows that I, did this years ago. But she was really asking me, like, what do they do? And I told her over lunch, I just said, they saved me. And that's the only real way I can say it. If you're sitting there and you're struggling with debt, so many people are behind, not just in their payments of credit cards, but in mortgage or rent and car payments. And, we're in a state right now that the spending, we are actually having to spend more just to keep ourselves afloat. And it's just not good. So what Done with Debt does, I told her they just basically come to the rescue. I had a consultation, which you will have too if you're in this situation, and they'll give it for free. You just go to donewiththat.com. More importantly, if you're sitting there struggling with bills or phone calls, harassing phone calls, they were constantly on me and I was freaking out. You're having dinner with your family and you don't want to pick up the phone. Anyway, they put an end to all of that, right? So they've got like a 3-pronged strategy. And that's the first one. They really put your own organized team together to get you back on track, to get you where you should be financially. And then third, they help you along the way. So you have to be honest, right? You have to tell them everything that's going on because that's the only way that they can help you. But they're an amazing group of people. So if you feel like you have a team behind you instead of everyone against you, and some people even end up just, with a few extra bucks in their pocket at the end of the month. But she was asking me, how long does it take? And I said, literally overnight for everything to stop. Because after I had the consultation, it was probably 2 days later that all the harassment stopped. And it was just such a relief. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever been just in a situation, but it can hit you. I mean, it could be death, disease, who knows, right? If you don't have that extra little fund hidden away under your mattress, wherever, life can come up and bite you pretty hard, which it did with me. And so it was death and taxes actually at the same time. And so everyone has their own story, right? But you don't have to live it alone. You can just get out there, go to donewiththat.com, and they will literally help you get out of this, financial mess, really.
We're speaking with Jillian Barbery. You can go to donewiththat.com. Like she said, donewiththat.com. Talk to an expert for free. Share your story. They'll tailor a strategy that's great for you after listening to your situation. You have nothing to lose, obviously, but all of the harassing phone calls, like Jillian says, and hopefully the debt. So go to donewiththat.com, donewiththat.com, all one word, and check them out. Jillian, always a pleasure. Thanks for a few moments.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll see you guys again.
All right, you got it. Jillian Barbary for Done With Debt. Go to donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Back to Vinnie Mac. Vinnie Mac, anything else that you wanted to on your plate?
Can you say that 5 times fast, please?
Donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com.
Done with debt. Hey, anybody see the Met Gala?
The what?
Nope, no one saw that, I guess, huh? The Met Gala.
Oh, I heard about it. LeBron was a no-show.
That's where they all dress like a bunch of whack jobs and show up at this place?
pretty much.
Yeah, and LeBron was a chairman. He was a no-show.
Who?
LeBron James did not show up, and he's one of the chairmen on the board. No show.
Wow.
Licking his wounds.
That was crazy. No, I only have one other small little thing, and that is that Trump did announce today, late today, he mentioned it in the press conference with the Canadian Prime Minister, that India agreed to eliminate all tariffs. They were the highest tariffs that we had, I believe, India, when we would export a product to their country. Those tariffs were 100 and something %, and they've said no more tariffs. So that is a huge thing. We suspected this was going to happen, but he kind of made a formal announcement after the meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister, and that's what all I got there, Big Dig.
Okay, very good, Vinny. Let's get to Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley was on with Steve Bannon today, getting back to the Ed Martin thing just quickly. I wanted to play this clip before, but I forgot. Here's Josh Hawley on this vote on Ed Martin out of committee.
Well, and this is why I think we are going to get to a vote and he is going to pass. I just don't see how he doesn't, to be honest with you, Steve, because the president, and you mentioned this last night, the president made it crystal clear publicly that Ed Martin is top priority for him because the District of Columbia being safe is top priority. I mean, right now, you know this as well as I do. You cannot go out on the streets in the district and not fear for your life. I've got staffers in my office literally who've been shot. I've got constituents when they visit D.C., they say, is it safe for us? And I have to tell them, honestly, I don't know that it really is. This is our nation's capital. It ought to be the cleanest. It ought to be the safest. It ought to be the best place to visit in our country because it represents what our country is about. And our own citizens can't come here without fear of their lives. It's ridiculous. We need a U.S. attorney who's going to go after the crime and clean up the city, especially in front of our 250 celebration next year. Ed is the right guy to do that. He's the president's choice. And I would just say to my fellow Republicans on the committee, and listen, I'm not saying anything to you. I haven't said to them privately, personally, give this guy a shot. Meet with him. Talk to him about what he's going to do in the office. Talk to the president. I think when that happens, he is going to pass the committee. I just don't see how he doesn't.
No? Okay. Right. He must know something we don't.
Hopefully.
Or he must know something about Tom Tillis that none of us do, because Tillis sounds pretty clear that he's not going to support him out of committee. So,
especially since he said it today.
All right, one more segment to go. We'll get to everybody live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday. We're back right after this.
Sometimes not even.
The second half of the fourth quarter
flows,
is the whole game.
Yeah, you'll see ebbs and flows, or but you can't go back to that foul shot that was missed in the third quarter because it.
Oh my goodness! I hate when it's freaking foul shot. Make your foul shot.
You a good foul shooter, Delgado?
Well, I never played.
Okay.
Yeah.
I played in the league.
Drives me up a wall.
I played a little. They used to call me World B. Buta. My nickname.
I was money.
Yeah. I was a big chucker.
Don't put me on automatic.
Oh, jeez.
Automatic.
Oh, yeah?
We're number 33.
Oh, you will? Yeah, for Larry Turd?
I shot free throws.
Did you know, and I read this today, that Larry Bird actually wanted to play?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he
didn't know
did.
that.
Stop.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. If he would have been picked by the Knicks in 78, he would have went instead of going back to.
Wow.
From French Lick, Indiana.
He said he wanted New York because he believed that's where the best players should play.
Is that your all-time favorite player? And how ironic that Julius Erving is mine. They were bitter rivals, those two.
Julius Erving.
I had no idea.
ABA New York Nets days.
Yeah,
We owned you.
Yes.
Owned.
You did. Except for 83 when we owned you. But other than that, yes, you owned us.
Thank you.
But 83, we owned you.
Irving
I had
was
my
just
1 year.
amazing. Amazing.
Irving was great. That's where I fell in love. That was how I cut my teeth. I went to an ABA game in Nassau Coliseum with my grandfather at 1973.
I remember
was 9
it.
years old. Never forget it.
They won the championship a couple of times.
Salt
I
Lake
think.
City they beat. I was there when they won it.
And he dominated like you've never seen before.
He was incredible. Him, Bill Melchione. They had some good players. Billy Poltz.
I love the stories
Kevin
about
Lowry
Bird.
was a great coach.
When they talk about Bird trash talking, and he's like, I'm going to get the inbounds pass here. I'm going to do this, blah 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 blah, and then and I'm going to shoot from here. I love those stories. They're just so great because it's at the highest level of the game.
Between that and hearing guys talk about, like I was listening to Vernon Maxwell talk about playing Jordan.
Yeah.
He's like, he'd be like, we go out, we do this, and he's like, go out any night. I don't care about that guy. I don't care about. He goes, the only time I went and got sleep was anytime we played the Bulls because I had to deal with Jordan. He goes, what are we doing tonight, Vernon? He goes, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, Jordan.
Because he needed his rest. He's gonna have me running up and down.
The story that Barkley tells about Jordan, and they were on, I think it was the Olympic team, and they went and played 18 holes, and Chuck Daly was like, we got a game. He's like, I'm going to play another 18. And Barkley was like, we got a game tonight. He's like, that's all right, I'll be fine. And when you get to the game, Chuck Daly says to Jordan, all right, Michael, you're going to take this guy. And he says, no, I'm taking the point guard. And he goes, what? He goes, no, I want the point guard. He goes, all right, but you just played 36 holes of golf. Live from Studio 6B, 13 to the hour. Last segment of the show on a Tuesday night. We're going to get to everybody here. Although, Vinnie Mac, I don't know. Do you have anything left? Well, we'll find out.
You'll see.
Let's start with Slick. Slickster's got sports. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. If you're going to shop at MyPillow, Slickster, give us one more run of the scoreboard here.
Okay, here we go, Big D. NBA, we may have our third collapse in a row of a home team with a double-digit lead blowing a game. Right now, the Pacers have just went ahead, 120 to 119 over the Cavaliers. And actually, it says end of fourth. That means the game just ended.
Oh, my God.
Just like last night with Denver and just like with the Knicks.
Holy
a third game in a row, Big D. This was game two.
36-21 in the fourth quarter. They outscored them.
Unbelievable. 120 to 119. Just went final. So now they lead that series 2-0. Cleveland, who was the number one seed and everybody's favorite to take the East, is in trouble now.
Is that unbelievable? Like, how do teams do that? They win the whole game and then they lose the fourth by 15 points.
I have no idea.
The same craziness went on with OKC last night. I mean, it was a very similar situation.
And same with the Celtics.
Yes, Celtics were really, just really amazing. These, you can't make this stuff up. And to the ice we go. NHL, good one. End of 3, going to overtime right now. The Hurricanes came back, scored a goal in the third, and they are tied with the Washington Capitals at 1. This is Game 1, East second round playoffs. We got the Oilers and Golden Knights. Puck drop should have been 9:30. Well, it's 9:48 East Coast time now, so I guess that game is delayed, probably in light of the fact they want to keep an eye on that Capitals game. But that game is getting ready to get ramped up in Vegas, Big D. And NBA just underway. Warriors and Timberwolves. This is game 1 of the West semifinals. Tied at 2, 10:47 to go in the first. Wow, just crazy stuff there. And that is a sweep of the scoreboard. Do I have time for one quick one, Big D?
You got plenty of time. All the time you want.
All right, come on now. Ted Cruz puts the NFL broadcasting schedule on notice during streaming hearing. Lawmakers hosted a Field of Streams event on Capitol Hill. Ryan Gatos of Fox News reporting. Senator Ted Cruz from Texas had pointed words for the NFL at the start of the Senate Commerce Committee's Field of Streams hearing on Tuesday. Cruz suggested the NFL has come close to breaking the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, which was established to keep the professional league from infringing on the schedules of high school and college football games. The NFL is technically barred from broadcasting games on Friday night through Saturday, starting from the second week in September through the second week of December, according to Pro Football Talk. Cruz called it a concern that the league has been able to broadcast games on Black Friday over the last 2 years. One growing concern is that the NFL has used its special exemption in the SBA to the frustration of college and high school football schedules, he he said. For example, the SBA explicitly excludes antitrust protection for the NFL if broadcasting a game on Friday night or Saturday between mid-September to mid-December. That's to protect the interest of high school and college football and ultimately their fans, who are no doubt also followers of the NFL. The NFL has tiptoed up to this rule, not through the tools, but up to this rule, now putting a game on streaming on Black Friday afternoon, which used to be a slot reserved for prominent college football rivalries, including in some years, when I was a kid, Texas versus Texas A&M. There's a rivalry. There are millions of sports fans who like being able to follow high school football and college and professional football without having to choose among them, and it's partly why Congress wrote the SBA in the manner it did. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell declined to attend the hearing. Puck reported in April he was at the White House on Monday to help announce that the 2027 NFL Draft will take place in D.C. We covered that yesterday. Fox News Digital asked the NFL for a comment. Well, you know what happened there, so they haven't gotten a comment yet. So he wants to preserve that. I respect that. You know, enough's enough. They're dominating the damn TV schedules, the NFL. They get this, they get that. I mean, you know, it's just... anyway, Big D, that's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
Okay.
No, I get, it's just, I feel like the money it costs for the games nowadays, it's just not fair for the average fan anymore. And I don't normally get on that soapbox, but between that and the NFL rights, and now they got to infringe on these college and high school games. Don't do this to the kids, and don't put a guy like me who wants to watch a college game in a position where I got to go and watch the Cowboys. It's just not right. Yeah. So, NFL, take, Roger Goodell, I have another name for him. I'm not a big fan, never was, but, he'll be around until forever. So, but, come on, let's have some respect here. Enough is enough. Black Friday, Thursday, Thanksgiving. It's just getting crazy. So that's a wrap, Big D. Back to you.
All right, Slick. Very good. I think I've kind of worn off on Slick tonight. He sounds angry.
Well, yeah, I have my moments, especially with the NFL. I mean, I love the game, but oh man, that's
I think it's all Tillis got him going here.
Yeah,
got him juiced up.
Yeah, you know what? That really broiled my bratwurst.
All right, 8 minutes till the hour. Delgado, let's do a little more news. What else is going on?
All right. Well, I don't know if you caught this, but U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered a leadership cut to the number of four-star generals and admirals by at least 20% across the military, according to a memo signed by Hegseth and obtained by CNN. He also ordered another policy change. I don't know if you caught this. Here it is, cut number 4. Here is Secretary Hegseth making another announcement about a new policy for the military. Check it out. Cut 4.
No more pronouns. No more climate change obsession. No more emergency vaccine mandates. No more dudes in dresses. We're done with that.
Yeah. There it is. The secretary laying it down. They're done with that. You know what?
Yeah, and, say it, man. Say it.
Hey, don't pull any punches there.
And, trying to get everybody back in line to the way that things need to be done to make sure that they are the most lethal fighting force in the world, according to him and President Trump.
That's what they are, right? A fighting force?
Yeah, fighting force. That's what they're war fighters. And that's what they should be ready to do at all times. I don't know if you caught this as well. I think you might have, as Trump calls New York Attorney General Letitia James, a total crook.
Get that right.
And says the DOJ will do what's right when it comes to this. Here he is saying it out loud because, of course, that's the best time to hear President Trump talk about this stuff, is out loud. Here he is with his take on Letitia James, Tish James, Tubby Tish, whatever you want to call her. Cut 7. Check it out.
I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being. And I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it. But that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person. But that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known her a long time.
Yeah, so there he is with his personal feelings on old Letitia James, the Attorney General out of New York, who, of course, is under the microscope from Crazy Eddie's own Sam E. Ayentar. You can follow him on X, as he just posted a signed power of attorney. This guy did the investigation into her. Signed power of attorney declaring the Virginia property her principal residence after explicitly telling the broker it would not be her Her lawyer, Abby Lowell, claims a subsequent document proves it was corrected, but that document, according to Crazy Eddie here, says that document actually predates the false declaration by 2 weeks. They got their dates wrong, and they submitted it. Whoops. Looks like Tubby Tish is heading down to the fat house.
Tubby Tish.
There you go. Back to.
We'll see.
Hello.
What?
Come on.
One thing I did want to get to
Close
tonight,
Mikey sees him.
because we've been talking about all the horrendous decisions we've seen.
Harumph.
The Supreme Court today is allowing the Trump administration's ban on transgender military service to move forward. Justice Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson, the three liberals, 3 of the 5 liberals, dissented, asserting they would have allowed the pause to stay in place. The High Court struck down the nationwide injunction from a district judge today, but it will likely revisit the case of Schilling v. U.S. The High Court didn't rule on the merits of the policy. President Trump signed an executive order in January stating transgender service allowed under Biden administration is harmful to military readiness and stated it conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life. So the Supreme Court today allowed this ban to continue, but the full story may not be in this case yet. So we'll see. One step at a time. As always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us. Thanks, everybody on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. But most of all, thank you, the Live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here, back on a Wednesday, live from Studio 6B.